Good morning, class, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. This is your second announcement just to talk a little bit about this course and some feedback from your first assignments. So I wanted to cover just 3 things today. The first is that when reading your discussion boards, I found that many of you had relationship challenges in common. And the most common theme that came across to me was the desire to build relationships, but also to balance the many priorities that you have in class. And so just this feeling that you can't invest in your kids or your spouse or your friends as much as you would like to be able to do. And unfortunately, that's the reality of our busy world. And so there is this decision that we constantly have to make of, am I making the right priorities? Am I choosing to invest in relationships that matter the most? So I would just encourage you, as you're now aware of that challenge, that as you're planning your day and going about making choices, to run that through your mind, to say, is this a time where I can put down this task and engage in a conversation? Could I devote a night a week to my kids or my spouse? Could I text that friend and ask them to get together, even though it might be inconvenient? Those things really can be significant and can matter. Beyond that, you can even do things like send cards and notes to people to let them know that they matter to you, just that you're thinking about them, and let those little moments build continual relationships. So that's just one thing that I see a lot of you having in common. The second thing that came up quite a bit in the feedback was about human trafficking. And I know that I offered that extra credit, and some of you will take me up on that, and I hope that you do. And so some people asked how I became passionate about it. Well, the way that I found out about human trafficking was actually because I had heard my sister-in-law talking about it, and I didn't know what it was. And I didn't have anything to talk to her about, and I found this training that I could go to so that I could have something to talk to her about. So it was out of a desire to build a relationship that I found out about something that was terrible. And so when I went to that training, I left kind of in shock and awe and just thinking, I have to do something about this. I don't know what. But it requires a response. And so I worked with some leaders in our church and community to think about what needed to be done and to reach out and find out what was already being done, and became very involved. And so for about 8 years, that was a primary focus of my life. But unfortunately, after having 2 children and working full time, I'm not able to devote as much time to that now as I have previously. And so I see my main role as being a connector for people who are interested, providing opportunities like the one I did for you all to build awareness, and then to kind of vote with my pocketbook in the things that I purchase and the organizations that I support that are offering survivor services and things like that. So that's a little bit about that story, and if you're curious about learning more, feel free to ask. The last thing that came up in your questions was what inspired me to become a teacher. What do I like about teaching? How did I get into this? And it's a long story again. Thankfully, when I was a freshman in college, I got to take a lot of personality assessments and look at things that would fit who I am. And teaching was always on that list, but I thought that was reserved for people that were old and wore sweaters and things like that, because I knew I didn't want to work with kids. And so I kind of put that on the back burner. But when I went to graduate school, I got a teaching assistantship and got to practice teaching with a lot of support, and realized that I liked it and I was somewhat good at it. So through that experience, I knew that was something I might want to do in the future. But after graduate school, I went right into another job where I was a church planter for a while and did a lot of leadership development, working with small groups and teams, and I enjoyed that immensely. But unfortunately, I had a falling out with my bosses and over some theological differences. And although we're still friends, realized that that was not a place where I could work. And so I started Googling teaching jobs and found an opportunity at Wake Tech to teach interpersonal communication on a part-time basis, and tried it out, and I loved it. Thankfully, I got offered an opportunity to work full-time the next year, and has quickly become my career. And the more that I practice interpersonal communication and teach interpersonal communication and work with students, the more that I know that this is my calling and something that I am passionate about, because it continues to make an impact on students' lives and relationships and helps you to reach your goals, and it helps me to grow as a person as well. So thank you for taking this class and being a part of my journey. I hope to continue to help you with yours. Get started on your next lesson, and please email me if you have any questions.